Hello and welcome to Level Up and Friends, where those of us from the video game and comic book store, Level Up Entertainment, get together each week with some friends and talk about some different subjects. This week, we're going to be talking about the hit 90s television show Seinfeld. I'm your host, Scott, and also joining me from the store this week, we've got John
Hi, how's it going?
and a very special guest, my father.
Hello, I'm John.
Yes, so they're both named John, so hopefully that won't be too confusing for everybody. Well, let's get into this a little bit. Um, so John, this kind of came about because you weren't watching the show when it was airing. In fact, you weren't even born yet.
Wow.
And then recently you told me you watched it for the first time, and this is probably my favorite show of all time. It's at least a contender for it. Ran from 89 to 98. So it went, for a while there. I guess we'll talk a little bit about our history with it because we all have kind of different relationships to it. Dad, you let me watch this when it was on for whatever reason.
It's a great show.
Yeah. So you got the experience of watching it new as an adult. I got the experience of new watching it as someone who was way too young for it. And John, you got no nostalgic ties to it. So, but Dad, why did you start watching the show when it was on?
When I was working at the FAA Technical Center, one of my coworkers came in and he said, "You got to check out this show called Seinfeld." I go, "Seinfeld? What the hell's that?" So I started watching it. I think I missed the first few episodes, and then I was hooked on it, and I thought it was a great show. As a matter of fact, a lot of people at work started calling me George because I'm a short, bald guy, and the mannerisms were very similar. So they just started calling me George, and I started realizing, oh, okay, George Costanza. Okay, I got like a little George-itis there.
Yes,
And
I don't know if that was a positive nickname.
Yeah, probably not, but I got used to it. And I just got really into it. It just was very funny, and the humor was just incredible. And I was back then you couldn't binge. Obviously, the show was in progress, so I had to wait from week to week, and just couldn't wait to the next week. The whole thing was hilarious, and I loved all the characters. And it kept showing. It said co-produced by Larry David, and I didn't know who the hell that was until later on.
Well, I kind of returned the favor because I introduced you to Kirby Enthusiasm, which we'll talk probably towards the end of the show.
Yeah, great show. And so, I mean, that's kind of what I got into, and then I just started watching it every week, and I was hooked.
Yeah, I think it was on Tuesdays or Thursdays or something.
Jeez, I don't remember.
I remember it was a school night because you guys would let us. You guys would let us stay up to like 9 to watch like this. And
I forget what station or time. I definitely was during the week though. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember the details. Yeah, was it NBC? I think it was.
Yeah, it's an NBC show.
So, just got into it and got hooked. Probably like Jonathan did over here.
Yeah. So, John, why did you start watching it? Obviously, I was watching it because it was on in the house.
Right. Quarantine. Last year,
okay.
Once like we were on like our spring break and like quarantine kind of started, I was like, well, this is a good time to find like a new show to watch, something good. And I love comedy TV shows. So prior to watching Seinfeld, like The Office was like my favorite.
Amen.
But the Seinfeld was on Hulu. And so I started watching it. I started with the pilot, and I thought, you know what, this is pretty funny. This might be something that is definitely up my alley, and I got hooked, and here we are.
Yeah, because I know not everyone at the store likes the show. In fact, I know Greg absolutely hates Jerry Seinfeld.
What?
Yeah, I know, but that's fine.
Sacrilegious.
But I remember you came in and told me, like, oh, I watched the show. It's this old show. It's called Seinfeld. I never heard of it. I was like, oh my God, I've seen like every episode like 200 million times.
Oh, I just kept watching all the reruns.
Because we watch it in reruns for years. Like,
so I mean,
and stuff.
And I used to quote a lot from Seinfeld. I mean, because there's a lot of that good observational humor that's really we could talk about that for a while. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh,
really, really appropriate. Really appropriate.
yeah, no, there's a couple of lines from the show that I know Dad and I kind of
Yeah.
always go back to.
Yeah.
I know it's not a lie if you believe it is one of them.
And one of my favorites, which I still do to this day, is the tip jar incident with George on that. He went to see George Steinbrenner. You know, he was working for the Yankees, and Steinbrenner always wanted across the street. He would get this sandwich. What was it called?
It was the eggplant calzone.
Calzone, yeah.
Calzone.
And he would always go across the street to and he always get the calzone. And then one day, George put his hand in a tip jar, and the owner didn't see it. And then he took money out, and the owner said, "What are you doing, stealing my money?" And to this day, when I go to places, I always think of that. I make sure the owner's watching me when I put money in that tip jar. I still think of that episode.
Yeah.
I love the line from that one. I guess you don't make a habit of giving to the needy. He's like, not bills.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But I guess that's a good segue. I kind of want to talk about the main four characters. You know, George, Jerry, Elaine, and Kramer. And I guess we'll start with the titular Jerry Seinfeld, because I know that the show is like was derided as like being a show about nothing, but I know it's a show that was conceived as a show about where a comedian gets his material, which is why the early episodes have a lot of Jerry's stand-up routine that's directly influenced by like the course of the episodes. Obviously, they got away from that, I think, because they didn't need that anymore, because the show and characters were stood on their own. But what do you guys think about like Jerry as a character and like as a comedian, I guess?
Go ahead, Jonathan. You can go, I guess.
I think as far as like the show goes, Jerry is the glue that kind of holds everything together. He's just in every segment, and he's obviously the biggest part of the show because it's named after him. But he's a good main character as far as like where the focus point of the show is, and he also, you know, he's a good character to just drive a show that's really simple and kind of almost like a documentary of his life, I guess.
Yeah, it's obviously a heightened reality.
Yeah, it's exaggerated.
But yeah, I know the show like lives in like the minutia of like and details of everyday life, because now that I've gotten to learn a lot about Jerry and Larry after the fact, and like how they because the other show I wanted to bring up while we're watching this is Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, which is just Jerry Seinfeld doing exactly what it says, getting a comedian every episode. They go for the drive, and then they like stop at like a coffee, but a lot of them, like, he talks, like they break down like their philosophy on comedy. Some of the episodes are really good, but the first one's him and Larry David. I think he's had an episode with all of the main Seinfeld cast at this point, at least once. But you know, he talks to a lot of other people. Like there was one we went to with Rob Reiner, and that one was really good. But anyway, I don't want to get too lost in that, because Jerry and the character Jerry is more like the straight man, you know, kind of the all of the other characters, like he gets to comment on all their other like crazy personalities and what their schemes and whatnot.
Hey, you know, can I quickly take veer right on this one? We want to tell Jonathan that Scott and I went to New York one day to see
yeah, we were there to see
Colbert.
the late show with Colbert,
and we decided to go to Tom's restaurant.
Well,
you know.
so here's the story with that.
Go ahead.
Because we didn't know what time they recorded, so we got there at like 9 a.m.
Right, that's right.
And they didn't record till like 5 p.m. We didn't have to be there in line. So like, well,
yeah,
we're in New York. You know, what can we do? And they're like, you know what? I know that the Tom's Restaurant, which is the establishing shop for monks, is a real place. Like, let's go find that.
Yeah.
So we did that. So we got to eat there for lunch, which was cool. It looks absolutely nothing like it on the inside.
It's real tiny. Yeah.
I mean, it's New York. Everything's really tiny.
And I remember asking the waitress, I think they said, Jerry, do you ever come there? What did she say?
They have photos of him there from like.
They have, yeah, but I don't think he ever came in a store.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I find that hard to believe, but yeah.
I probably wouldn't, just because you'd get like mobbed all the time.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
You know, but and Comedians, Cards, Getting Coffee, there's an episode, the Jason Alexander episode, is he's in character as George, and that's the place where they go to get coffee.
Oh.
is Tom's
Okay.
restaurant. So now when you get to see what the real interior looks like.
Mhm.
But I think that was like a Super Bowl special or something. It was weird because they're in their Seinfeld characters. They're not.
Oh, okay.
It's not Jason and Jerry. You know, it's
Mhm.
it's George and Jerry.
Hmm.
But I guess there's not much. I don't think there's much to say about Jerry Seinfeld, the character in Seinfeld.
Mhm.
Just because he generally is the kind of, again, the straight man, the character that kind of the audience surrogate in a way, where he kind of is the one that's reacting.
And his stand-up routines during the
Right.
show,
Yeah. Yeah.
he's-
But
he
yeah,
admits he's a terrible actor. He was the worst actor there.
oh yeah, he's the worst actor of the bunch.
Mhm.
Especially
He admits
early on, you can tell. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they by the second, third season, like, it doesn't matter because everything else about it's so good.
No.
But yeah, so I guess we'll transition to probably everyone's favorite character. We're talking about George. So Dad, why don't you tell us a little bit, like, you talked about how they used to call you George at work.
Yeah.
What's some of the stuff that makes George tick for you?
Well, his just the way he's his goofiness and the way he reacts to things and I don't know. He's highly neurotic too. He's very off, and I'm kind of like that. So I kind of relate to him a little bit with his personality and the way he thinks, and he's just funny. I don't know what to say. The guy's just. Well, my favorite character is not George. I would say it's Michael. It's Michael Richards. It's Kramer.
Kramer. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think Kramer's really funny. I mean, they're all great. It's just a great mix of people. And it's hard to.
The chemistry is great in the
Chemistry is great in that show.
Yeah.
Right. It was well casted, and so many episodes that go through my head. But I dislike. I know you want to go to side characters eventually, Scott. I don't know if you want to hit that.
We'll get there. Let's get through the main four first.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, so I don't. All right, so I think when I was a kid, Kramer was my favorite because he's like the most like a Looney Tunes character.
Right.
But the older I get, the more I appreciate George and Jason Alexander's performance in general. Because watching him like in other things, like, he is not like that at all. He doesn't even wear glasses.
No.
But now this is the character that's loosely based on Larry David, which makes watching Curb Your Enthusiasm, the show starring him, a fictionalized version of his own life, kind of like this, kind of really interesting. And but yeah, so I don't know. I really enjoy George. I think he's become my favorite character. I don't know if you agree with us or not, John.
I do. George is my favorite character as well. It's just everything about him, like his demeanor, his personality, like just the fact that nothing goes right for George.
Right.
And it probably never will.
Yeah, he's like the Charlie Brown-esque quality to him.
Yeah. He's just a goofy, like,
I like that
character who's got, he's got the best advice all the time, but things don't always work out the way he wants. And in the show, like throughout, like, all 9 seasons, like the most just ridiculous stuff happens to him, and the most surprising stuff happens to him as well throughout the show.
Yeah. But he's not the wackiest character, which is definitely Kramer.
No, it's definitely Kramer.
Like I said, he's very like Looney Tunes-esque. Like all these crazy things like happen. Like all of the big schemes go to him.
Mm-hmm.
But like Michael Richards is a great physical performer. Like the physicality of Kramer is so
physical comedy. It was really fantastic.
He moves in such a bizarre way.
Yeah.
Like
he rushes in the door and just the way he is. Yeah.
Like even just sitting there, he's like, the way he holds himself is so
just
weird.
Look at him. You just crack up.
He's very animated. He's got like that Jim Carrey kind of animated like facial features when he's talking and things like that.
Yeah. No, he's great.
I kind of wish he got more of his due, because the only other thing I've ever really seen him in is UHF.
He had a show himself.
Yeah, the Michael Richards show. Like,
he's a lawyer or something.
No, he was like a detective or something.
Detective, I forget.
Yeah, it was not.
It bombed.
Good.
I know that. The only one who made it was Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who made it outside the show with the VEEP and.
Oh yeah, she's had a whole revival career.
I mean, she's a lot of other things too. I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, we can talk about Elaine then, because she came in a little bit later than everyone. I think was a good balance. I do think they kind of needed to be a quartet, because a lot of it then before pre-Elaine, like a lot of it was on the shoulders of Jerry Seinfeld.
Refresh my memory. Wasn't she on since the beginning?
No, she wasn't.
Who was? I don't remember now.
She came on like season 2.
No kidding.
Because the
it
first
was a
season,
few episodes into season 2.
Yeah, the first season was only a couple of episodes. I don't think they
like 7 or 8 episodes.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that.
Yeah,
been a while.
But yeah. So she came on later as Jerry's girlfriend, and then they broke up, but she still stuck around.
Right.
But I don't know. She lets them comment on like women's issues. Like she opens up different kinds of storytelling avenues, and she's also like more stuck up or pretentious versus like George and Kramer.
She's like one of the guys, you know.
Yeah, but like she I think she kind of sees herself a little bit more like high class than them. Like she's always looking down on George, because remember there's the episode where like they both stop having sex, so like their personalities kind of flip.
Oh yeah.
She kind of becomes the dumb one and he becomes the smart one.
Well, that's right. I forgot about that one. Yeah, that's a good one.
So
many good ones. It's so hard.
I know. We could just sit here like just reminiscing about
so many good ones
and stuff.
Jonathan, you just saw them, so they're fresh in your mind too.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I gotta go back, and I haven't seen them in a long time.
No, there's a lot of good ones. It's hard to pick like a number one.
It is tough. It is.
I know as an exercise for this episode, John and I were trying to like list our top 10 episodes, but like I didn't want to sit here and just like list out our top 10, also because I couldn't cut mine down from like 20. But but it was a good exercise to be like why you like certain episodes, like kind of like what you get into, like what you like about the show and what it kind of reveals to you about your top 10. Because like, you know, I found I really like a lot of the more subtle, like character driven type stuff. I don't have my list in front of me. I should pull it up.
Yeah.
But you know, with that, we can talk into some of the minor characters if you guys want.
Well, I'd like to. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is one on my mind.
Well, Dad, who do you want to talk about then?
Well, you know what? No one talks about this guy, but the rabbi. Well, he was great. Remember the rabbi? And he went to do the bris, and went to Jerry's house to do the bris.
He's in a couple of episodes.
Yeah, he's in a few.
He's just the way he acts and the way he was. It was one of my favorite side characters.
Rabbi Glickman.
I did not remember his name, but I
have the internet in front of me, so I'm cheating.
He was just so funny. Oh, he just cracked me up. Him and Elaine and their interactions.
Well, you know, you grew up.
Laney. I could just hear him. Yeah.
Well, you grew up more Jewish than the rest of us.
Yeah, I know. I grew up Jewish, but there's so I kind of appreciate it.
Yeah, there's a lot more. You can appreciate a lot more of that kind of stuff that happens in the show, because there's not a lot, but it is funny when it comes up.
It's not a lot, no.
But, well, like speaking of that, I remember the one where Jerry goes to confessional and he sits on the kneeler. Like that always makes me laugh.
Oh yeah.
Just because he doesn't know what it is.
He said, "What's this thing? What's this thing for?" Yeah.
Yeah, because why would he know?
He wouldn't know. No.
You know, talking about Tim Watley.
That was a great character
for the jokes. Yeah, he's he's a good minor character, and he's more interesting to talk about now in light of like Breaking Bad, because he's Bryan Cranston.
Yeah. It was great. Jerry said the chair said you went to Judaism just for the jokes or something.
Yeah, no, does that offend you as a Jewish person? No, it offends me as
a comedian.
Oh, right. That's the episode where he's sitting in a hospital bed, right?
Was it a hospital bed or dentist chair?
Yeah, it was the dentist chair.
I think he there.
Yeah, that's the one. That was great. That was a great.
But then there's the other one where like they're swinging and like he kind of thinks they like molested him, because all of a sudden like he wakes up and his shirt's untucked. You know what I mean? But all right. So we can start talking about some of the other the big one we got to talk about for the side characters, and I guess we'll start this at the top where this isn't everyone down to the minor detail like characters. This is a very well cast show. Like across the board. But
you can't forget him.
Yeah.
Character Newman or kind of a.
Yeah, I was going to bring up Newman.
He's in between.
Yeah, because I have it in front of me. There's just a list of secondary characters. Other than Ruthie Cohen, who's the cashier at Monk's, she's technically been in 101 episodes, but Newman's been in the most after that, with 47.
Okay.
Played by Wayne Knight, obviously, and then he had Jurassic Park happen in the middle of this.
Yes, I remember that.
I think that might be the first time I recognized like an actor from something else in the theaters when we saw that.
Good.
But yeah, I guess he's
created. He was also in Toy Story 2, right? He played Al from Al's Toy Barn.
It's been so long since I watched Toy Story 2. But Wayne Knight, he does a lot of voice acting now in things.
Yeah.
Which is
he's
fun.
He's in a few stuff.
Yeah, he's a good performer. I like Wayne Knight. And he's so delightfully devilish in Seinfeld.
He was also in Space Jam.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was.
Which I guess he was doing Seinfeld around the same time that he did Space Jam as well.
Yeah, Space Jam was also in the 90s.
Yeah,
he was in a few things. Huh?
Yeah. But Newman. The postman, rival to Jerry, his arch nemesis, like people in real life have those.
Newman.
But I love the fact that they also made him friends with Kramer. So it allows him to like get involved in his schemes and his side plots as well. It's always fun when he gets involved.
Yeah.
Man, I think Newman's got two of the parts. Like I got a couple of the biggest laughs I still get from me every single time. I love the Kenny Rogers Roasters one.
I was just thinking that one.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say that one. Yeah.
Well, because you're gonna bring up the vile weed line if you eat some broccoli.
Oh hell yeah, he hates broccoli. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because broccoli is one of my favorite foods. It's one of those lines.
I love
that
it.
always sticks out to me. That and when he his business card, it just says Newman.
It says Newman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got Cherry Under the Lights. Remember that one? With,
that's the same episode where he's interrogating for mail fraud.
Seinfeld. He gets under the lights and he's sweating. And
he ends up a
picture of George.
Yeah,
sweating in that pose. What the hell was that one about? That was the
he's the artist
mail fraud. Oh yeah, with the stereo.
George was trying to do the timeless art of seduction.
That was it. Oh, that was a good one. Oh man.
Yeah.
They're all good.
Yeah, I don't think there's too many like straight up terrible ones.
Yeah, it's just that kind of show.
I will say that the pilot is a little weak going back to it. Like I just rewatched that. Before we started. I was like, man, like, this is.
It's really a lot of sitting around, not talking about, just talking about stuff. Well, that's the one where they put the concrete in the washing machine, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That was the pilot, boy.
Trying to get back to that dry cleaner.
Yeah.
Like the pilot is very dry.
Glad I got by that.
Humor wise, yeah. But as the show goes on, though, it's just you can see everybody gets more comfortable, with each other, and just that chemistry just grows.
Yeah, it grows. Crazy. Yeah, it just sprouts up, and and before you know it, in full bloom, boy, they just took off. So you guys get to binge them, huh? Scott and I we're binging Modern Family right now. I never saw that show before.
Yeah.
We're binging that one now. I don't know if you ever watched that, Jonathan, but
I've caught episodes here and there.
We like it,
I haven't seen it in full though.
Yeah, it's a good show, and we just finished Frasier and watched most of Cheers, but Cheers got pretty bad during the Christmas year, so we stopped.
Oh, okay.
But if you like, you think John, you like Frasier? You think you'd like Frasier if you see?
You know what? Me and Scott were talking about it one day, and I have it on like my watch list on Hulu because it's on Hulu right now. So I will have to get to it. I'm watching Community right now on Netflix.
Yeah. We saw that. Then we got with
I showed you Community. Community was
Chevy
good.
Chase.
Yeah, it was good until it wasn't. And you'll know when it's not.
Oh yeah.
Thought
about Community. Yeah.
But so some of the other side characters I know I wanted to bring up are some of the bosses. Jay Peterman
Peterman's good.
Is amazing by John O'Hurley. George Steinbrenner is amazing.
He's the best.
And the voice was Larry David.
It was Larry David, but it's just he's like a Mr. Big kind of character where you only see him from behind.
You never see his face. Yep.
It looks like him from the back too. I know you probably don't remember him, but
I mean, John's a Yankees guy, so
you are. Well, Phillies just swept you.
I know.
Today hurt.
But
Yankees guy.
Yeah, I know. Dad's a Phillies guy, so.
Well. Hey, are you a Cowboy fan?
No, No,
Oh,
I'm a
good. Then,
Giants
then you're all
fan.
right. Well, I'm an Eagles fan. I can take the Giants. I can't take the Cowboys.
Okay.
Well, Wes from work's a Cowboys fan. We somehow
Ugh.
make it work.
Well, we got that. We got that in common. We hate the Cowboys.
Well, all right. Everyone hates the Patriots, so we can.
agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and Putty's a Devils fan, so we don't like him now.
Oh, Putty. That's a
Yeah.
great character.
He's a
Putty.
good character, yeah. And he's been in a
Oh.
lot too. He's been in Family Guy.
Well, Patrick
He's-
Warburton's
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah,
yeah.
he's been in everything.
And he's always great. I love him. Like, but like,
yeah.
I love him as like just this deadpan guy. But he's also really great in like Venture Brothers.
He's really good in Emperor's New Groove too as Kronk.
Yeah, I've only seen that
he's really
once
good in
a
that.
couple of years ago, but it was really good.
Putty, yeah, that was a good one. Yeah,
But yeah, unless there's anyone else like you guys want to bring up in the cast, we can talk about.
Frank Costanza is my favorite side character.
I'm glad they changed fathers. Remember in the beginning?
Well,
they had that
Jerry had a different different actor play his father in the
Yeah.
in the beginning, and he wasn't as good.
I believe Jerry Stiller was
Jerry Stiller was always Frank Costanza though.
Yeah. And then Estelle Harris was always Estelle Costanza.
Okay. Oh, well, I thought Stiller replaced the first father. No.
No, Jerry's father had a different actor originally. And then the second guy was much funnier and stuck around the rest of the show.
Oh, that guy. Yeah. I can't think of his name. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Morty, Barney.
Morty. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Morty. He was good. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so lots of fun characters come in and out of their world. Surprised Kenny Banny was only in 6 episodes. I feel like he was in way more.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah. Jackie Childs was only in 6 as well. What was the lawyer he's a parody of, the OJ lawyer? I can't remember his name.
F. Bailey? No.
The real life guy. The guy who was OJ's lawyer.
Yeah, a few lawyers.
Oh, the main one, the glove. You know, if his glove doesn't fit, you must
have quit. That was what's his face. F. Bailey. No, it wasn't F. Bailey.
No, it wasn't F. Bailey.
Johnny Cochran.
Johnny Cochran. That's who he's a parody of.
Who is
Jackie Childs?
Oh yeah, Jackie Childs. Yeah. I forgot about him. Yeah.
Because he talks in like the rhyme. He has like the runs of like
it's coming back to me now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you even got that reference, John.
No, I didn't realize it was based off of a OJ.
You see, that was what was happening at the time in the 90s. But like,
that makes sense though.
But like, it's fun that it's good that it works as its own thing. And I like that, like, you know, also Steinbrenner, like, I'm sure they didn't try to attempt to make him anything like the real Steinbrenner. Other than I know he had like a penchant for firing people, so everyone's like afraid of him.
Yes, he used to fire this guy named Billy Martin. He really did fire him 3 times, and they brought him back. He fired people all the time. That was his thing. He was a very eccentric owner. I think his kid. Well, you're Yankees fans. I think his kid owns it now, or doesn't he? Something. Steinbrenner.
Was he the owner or like the manager?
He was the owner. Oh no, he was the owner.
So he owned the team.
He was the owner. I think he passed.
I think he recently passed. Yeah.
But I think his son took over the team. But
I mean, that would make sense if he was the straight up owner.
I think I can't swear to that. But
yeah. So you know, we talked a little bit about the pilot. John, at the time, and probably still to this day, the finale is extremely controversial.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to get your vibe on, or your opinion on it without, like, because this show was huge in the 90s. Like, it ending was like a big deal.
I've always heard that the show ended at the peak of its like popularity.
I think the last season it was starting to dip, so I'm glad that it stopped.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
But without any expectations in it, and like, so you were able to just kind of watch it. I want to know how you felt about how this show ended in the finale.
I liked it. I mean, I know when we were loosely like making a top 10 list or whatever, I had it like my 5th spot because I wanted to have it in there. Just because I liked the way it wrapped up. I mean, it brought back like a bunch of good side characters from all throughout like the 9 seasons. And it, you know, for a show that really you don't know where it's going to end, I felt satisfied by the end.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just funny and
You know what I liked?
kind of goofy.
Yeah.
Think about the first one that George was buttoning up his shirt, and he says the top one is the captain of the what is it? Help me with this one, Scott.
Oh, yeah.
Captain of the buttons.
Something like that. It sets the
And they
tone
referred
for
that,
Yeah.
and they said that same thing on the last one. I can't remember the line, but
yeah,
it
but
was
they
weird.
basically closed the show with how they opened it.
Right, that's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Yeah,
But it was
yeah,
nice to kind of see like all this parade of characters, because they're all very
Right,
memorable in their
right.
own ways. Like Babu, the soup Nazi, comes back. They mentioned
Oh, there's another
Bubble
one,
Boy.
Bubble
Babu.
Boy.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you know what I mean. It was a nice way to kind of bring in a lot of these
Oh,
people.
some
And
Nazi. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that was
Yeah.
great. Yeah, yeah. The rabbi was there, and everybody was there. Yeah,
yeah,
it was pretty good.
I remember people like hated it, and it's just
No,
something that,
it was okay. I liked it.
yeah, I liked it too. But I was also
Mhm.
it was 98, so I was like what, like 12ish, 15 or 13.
12. What am I saying? That's Mark. It'd be about 12. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, it's probably closer to 13. I don't, whatever it was. I'm like late pre-tweens, early teens, somewhere in there. But like I remember liking it, but I remember it being a big deal. I guess
I could understand people being upset at the time just because they have all these like expectations and things.
But
I didn't have expectations.
I'm not sure what people like really were expecting from it, because like it's like the show's got a story.
Right. It's a simple show,
Yeah.
Yeah. You think that show could have went on longer?
Probably, but I
Probably,
think it was
yeah.
time to go.
I'm
sure everyone that was involved with it was like they did it for like 10 years.
10 years. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like time to move on, I think.
Every show has an end. Yeah.
I mean, I know Larry David left the show like season 7 or 8 or something. I know he came back to help with the finale. But I think that was just indicative of people wanting to move on. Now, Dad, I know you didn't make a top 10 or whatever list.
Oh.
But I have my list is 22. So I don't know if you've got yours, John. But Dad, I know you really like what I put as my number 1, which is the Hamptons.
Yes.
I know we talk. We there can't be a tomato around you, and then you can't talk about you eat it like a hand fruit every single time.
Oh, wow. Oh, I quote that all the time.
Oh my God!
I love that line.
It's so annoying that you do.
It should be a hand. Oh yeah, I really quote that one. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
But that's a great episode. Everyone's got their side plot, but they all kind of like crescendo back together at the end.
Of course, the contest. The contest.
I don't have the contest on my list.
I have that at 10.
It's a memorable episode.
How about the one when Elaine's doing that funky dancing? What was that about?
Oh, that's a few episodes where she does that.
The first one's one where I know about Jerry's bootlegging movies. I don't remember what the episode's called.
Oh, yeah, the bootleg. I remember that guy for that guy. Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah,
with the old VCRs. Yeah.
But John, what did you put at your number 1? I'm curious.
The Soup Nazi.
It's a good episode. It's
probably a lot of people's like number 1.
It's in my top 10.
As far as like completeness, like that. Like coming full circle, that episode is really.
I mean, I'll tell you something. That's season 7, so it's pretty late in the show.
Season 7's good.
But like I remember that being like such a ubiquitous thing, that like it was one of those like cultural touchdowns. Like everyone talked about the Soup Nazi,
and that's real. We saw it, Scott, in New York.
We saw the place where it's based off of it. Yeah. But like it's strange now looking back at me, like, oh, that was so late in the run, like. Season 7 of 9, like it feels like.
Oh, really?
Such a quintessential Seinfeld episode. Seems like it'd be like season 4 or something,
Yeah. Oh, what else? There's so many. It's hard to pick.
Let's see. What else do I have here? My number 2 is the Rye.
Oh, the Rye.
The Marble Rye.
Yes, this one I quote a lot. I call people old bags because of it.
Oh, yes, you do that. Yes, that's a good one.
No, it's great. There's just so much comedy in it. And we can just go down the list.
Yeah.
My number 2 is the Serenity Now.
Serenity Now is a good one.
Yeah.
But there's so much.
Oh yeah. That's the one who in the garage and they were selling. Had his cousin there and they were ringing up. I forget what they were selling, and I forget. Yeah.
I will say, you talked about the Marble Rye episode, so that was my number 3. My number 4 is the Cadillac. That's the episode with Marissa Tomei.
Yeah.
And also the lady who had the Marble Rye that Jerry stole.
Yeah, she came back for that one.
She came back for that episode.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
yeah.
sometimes shows up as like a character actor
Yeah,
in things.
yeah.
Mhm.
And every time I see her, I think, shut up, you old bag, whenever she starts talking in the show,
Right.
which is not, maybe not fair, but like it's such a memorable like thing.
I don't have a list in front of me, but I gotta put Festivus up there, man.
Festivus is up
Okay.
there. It's
Mhm.
December 21st.
Yeah, I mean that's a great one. Festivus for the rest of us. I mean that's up there.
That's
Man.
also like season like 8. That's
That might
like
be one
season
of that
8
might
or
be my
something.
top one. I don't have a list in front of me, but I'd have to
Yeah.
rank that up there. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much good stuff. The chicken roast.
December 21st. Wait a minute. It was,
It's December 21st. I
I
remember.
thought it was 23rd.
I think it's the
23rd.
21st.
I'm positive of it.
Oh, you and numbers.
23rd.
I just
2
know,
days before Christmas.
I just know it's a day off of my birthday on the 20th.
Numbers I remember. You look it up. I know it's the 23rd.
I'm not even gonna challenge you on that.
Doesn't
I know
matter,
better.
but it's just a couple days.
Yeah,
But,
I just know it's a day off of my birthday.
I mean, that's some great writing right there, boy. I'll tell you. People.
Oh, I love when he's
about
like,
that.
when Frank's explaining the story, and he's talking about they're trying to get the last stall, and then he was like, as I was raining blows upon you.
I love that one.
Yeah, I realized there's got to be a better way,
And he had that one guy come into the Mr. Kruger. He came into the party there.
Yes.
Kruger or something.
Yeah,
I
it was
forget.
Kruger, but he calls.
We have time for grievances because I aired a grievance.
They aired
It's just
grievances.
a great show. I love that one.
You know
I'd
what?
put that-
I've done the human.
I'd put that
fund.
number one.
I've done the human fund thing. For
Oh, the
people
human
where
fund.
it's I'll give them a card to say I made a donation in your name.
Oh
to the human
yeah.
fund.
Was that the episode?
That was the same episode. He doesn't give a real gift because he doesn't celebrate Christmas as excuse.
Right. To his boss. Yeah.
I've done that when like I've gotten Christmas gifts for people and they haven't like they're
Oh
arriving
yeah,
or
that's a
something.
classic.
That way I can kind of give them something at like Christmas parties and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Oh man, that I'd have to rank that as my favorite. Yeah.
I think every episode you're gonna say is your favorite one, right?
No, I know. I don't have a list. I like them all. It's hard to pick.
Yeah, I like I said, it just was more of an excuse for me to kind of see what like patterns emerge. Like I've got kind of just stuff everywhere. I don't have anything from earlier than season 3, but I have stuff all the way up to season 9. You know,
The one thing I quoted from Seinfeld the most last year was this was supposed to be the summer of George.
oh yeah, that was appropriate.
Oh, yeah,
So,
yeah.
So like I was working on the beach last year and
Yeah.
and like just how last summer was with like like the masks and
Yeah,
the
right.
whole COVID thing, like it really put a damper in a lot of people's summers. So so I
Sure
was
did.
quoting that all summer.
Some of George, yeah.
I also like the one that Kramer does. Every time I look at a pretzel or eat a pretzel now, like I always think these pretzels are making me thirsty.
Yeah,
Thirsty. These pretzels making me thirsty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he was in the Woody Allen movie.
Mhm.
I remember that one. It's at the bar. Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you.
But yeah, John, you're probably not aware of a lot of this stuff, but like there was kind of what was known as a Seinfeld curse after this, where like all of the actors were trying to get their own shows and like projects off the ground after this, and none of them could until probably the 2010s with VEEP with Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Right.
Which I want to get into that show. Something keeps me from getting into it.
Yeah, Scott. I don't know. I never really watched that too much.
Because on paper, I love the cast. I love the premise.
We may have to look at a few of them sometime.
But John, have you watched VEEP?
I have not. No,
Okay.
I haven't gone to watch it. I know it's popular though.
I want to give it a shot.
Yeah, I do too.
But I want to get a little bit more in depth with Comedians in Cars and Curb Your Enthusiasm because I think I think retroactively they add more to Seinfeld.
John, have you seen Curb Your Enthusiasm?
I haven't.
I'm
telling
I need to watch it though.
All right. Let's talk about comedians first because I'm sure they're putting on some act for the camera, but I like that a lot of the conversations really get in depth, like to what like comedy philosophy with different comedians.
Yeah.
And each episode's a different comedian with Jerry Seinfeld, so it's like it gives you different flavors. Not a coffee pun.
Is that still on?
Yeah, it's still going. But why I think that works is because it was designed as an internet show, so there's like episodes. Episodes are only as long as they need to be. So they're they don't. There's no like story or anything. They're essentially just like glorified YouTube, like a podcast, But yeah, like the first episode's him and Larry David. I know early on he did like Louis C.K. Patton Oswalt. Like he's done basically everyone in comedy.
He had Colbert on too. Yeah,
He's had Colbert.
Yeah, he had well, a lot of them.
But I like when he gets into some of the old timers, like Rob Reiner and Mel Brooks on.
Yeah.
But it
Did he ever have Eddie Murphy on? Because
he's had Eddie Murphy on. He had Jerry Lewis on before he died.
Who did he have on?
Jerry Lewis.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, let's see that one.
But it's a good show. I would recommend it. But the more funny show is Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh,
The Larry David vehicle.
Oh.
Again, another well-cast show. So the conceit of this show is there is no script. There's just kind of a loose plot line or a loose outline that Larry will write. So the characters are essentially like improving.
Living. They're allowed to living a lot.
Yeah. So it's a very natural feeling show.
Which is
it's got that documentary handheld style.
Yeah.
So it's
you'll love it. You'll love it. I'm telling you.
It's very Seinfeld-esque where it's just kind of following Larry and like he gets lost in the details of his day as well. And it gets a little bit more complex as shows go on because like season 4, he ends up getting cast as the lead in like a production of The Producers on Broadway.
Okay.
So that becomes like a running thing throughout that season. I think second season he's working with Jason Alexander to get him a TV show. But it's funny because like Jason Alexander's like running joke in the series is like he's typecast as this like horrible loser character and how much he hated playing George. But because because it's based on Larry, so it's like funny that like he gets really offended by that. But Julia Louis-Dreyfus is in it a whole lot. It's an HBO show, and on the
Michael Richards is in it a little bit too. Yeah.
He's in it a little bit too because they eventually do want to like they'll have like each season will have an overarching like plot, for lack of a better term. But one of them is a Seinfeld reunion.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Oh yeah.
Because Larry and Jerry in real life hate the idea of reunions. They think it's always lame.
Right.
It never works out. But in like this alternate reality, the reason that they even do it is Larry's trying to win his wife's affection. So she's trying to be an actress. So she casts him against, to be George's love interest in it.
Okay.
And again, so because he writes him as Larry David. So the whole reason, but over the course of the season, you see them working together and doing it. And like a lot of the plots are based on earlier episodes of Curb, which is really funny. But it's kind of like you get to have your cake and eat it too, because you get to see the reunion. So it's like they had it, but they didn't actually.
They did a good job. They did a good job.
But they didn't actually do a reunion.
I definitely need to watch that show. I know it's on HBO Max right now.
You'll love it.
Yeah, it's an HBO show.
You'll love it.
I'll try to do that over
the second.
How many years was that on, Scott? Do you remember?
So there's like 7 seasons, but there's been like years in between the last couple.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it only comes back when like Larry David has ideas.
Yeah.
Like the most recent season, I think was last year or the year before.
It's good too. Yeah.
But like it was in the Trump era because like I know he uses a MAGA hat to get out of like commitments.
That's right.
Because nobody wants to be around him.
If you put the MAGA hat on, no one wants to be around him.
Yeah. It's pretty good. A couple of the actors had passed in it, so like they have to ride around like Marty Funkhauser.
Yeah.
But it's another show where like you get to know like the side characters and like his kind of little world that he has.
Yeah.
For himself. But
you're definitely gonna like it.
Yeah, if you like Seinfeld, you like Curb.
Oh God, yes.
And since it's HBO, like they get away with a lot more than they ever could on network television.
Yeah,
that's true.
Not that there's like nudity or anything, but like lots of swearing. You need to be able to have a high tolerance for that. But it's really funny. A very similar sense of humor, which makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
Since it's half the creative team. But so
good show. Great show.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is a very formative show for me. I chalk a lot of my comedy sensibilities up to this show. I think because I grew up watching it. So like this and like even like Warner Brothers stuff like Looney Tunes and like Three Stooges, I think really helped inform a lot of my
Three Stooges. I got Monty Python. We love that too.
Well, yeah.
Monty Python.
That's a little different. I appreciate that differently now than I do as a kid.
I will say Jerry Seinfeld's his stand-up alone is just not the most
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you seen his
like,
stand
kind of
up? Any of
stand-up.
his stand up?
Recently, I haven't seen too much. I think I did see that Netflix special that he
Okay.
had.
Yeah. Wait a
I
minute.
think that was
Yeah, I
like
think
a
I saw it too.
year and a half ago, maybe.
Disappointing, wasn't it? A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, I
But
think
his
I know what you're
old
talking
stuff
about.
is good though.
Yeah.
He had a book that came out.
Yeah.
I forget the name of it off the top of my head. I think it was like Just Say Anything or something like that. Where like he wrote down all like his jokes or like bits that he's had since his like the start of his career to like the mid like 2010s.
Mm.
And then the book is really good, and it's funny, and it's a really good type of humor, and I have like a kind of like a lot of respect for like somebody who writes jokes instead of just
You should
talking
you
about
should
whatever.
really watch Comedians and Cars Getting Coffee. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, I need to watch that show
because
too.
yeah, it's a lot of comedians, and then they talk about, because he gets a lot of people that have like different styles from him on the show.
Mm-hmm.
But like sometimes the conversations get really deep into like the creative process, and some of them are they're just like they're old friends just kind of joshing around.
Mm-hmm.
Like the one with the episode with Julia Louis-Dreyfus, like you can tell like they are friends and they have a really strong history.
Yeah.
But then there's ones with like certain comedians where like they just sit there, that's what they talk about.
Mm-hmm.
The art of comedy.
Yeah, that's a good show. Yeah.
And like I find that stuff fascinating because like I like to think I'm a creative person, but like I'm not a comedian.
Right.
But it's really interesting to watch, and like, he talks with like Trevor Noah, and like I remember them having like kind of different philosophies on things, because Trevor's like a lot more worldly because he's he's from South Africa. He's done comedy like stand up all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
So but it's interesting to get different perspectives, and the show's like legitimately funny. Obviously your mileage may vary depending on who's on. Like they did 2 episodes with Jimmy Fallon, and like I think that was a little much, but
okay, I remember that one. Yeah, that was too much. Yeah, I'm not a big Fallon fan anyway, but
that's what I'm saying. Like like even though he came out as like a sex weirdo, like the Louis C.K. episode I thought was really funny.
I like the Colbert one because he asked him the same question I did when we went to see him.
Yeah, like you got to ask him a question.
I got to ask him a question on his old show with the Colbert Report. We went to see him.
Awesome.
And the Q&A, and he picked it. I asked him, I don't even remember what I asked. I was starstruck. He asked like
you asked him how he got on the Daily Show
or something like that.
Okay.
He was like, he's staring at me for 10, 15 minutes. He loved the question, and Scott could tell I was starstruck.
Yeah, I got you tickets to that as a Christmas gift. Like it was when he was still on the report, so it was like
Rapport, the Rapport. That was cool though.
That was cool.
That's.
I will say, if you're going to do any of that stuff, don't go in January like we keep doing.
We keep going. Yeah, don't go. Yeah, don't go that time of year.
You gotta wait in the.
Christmas in the city is.
You gotta wait on the street for a long time.
Cold.
Yeah, I'm sure when it's cold.
Yeah.
Oh, brutal.
But it also gets brutally hot in the summer. So like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you guys have a favorite comedian currently?
I like John Mulaney a lot.
Okay. He was Spider Pig.
He was Spider Ham in
Spider Ham,
in Spider-Verse. But his stand-up I think is very funny. But there's a lot of comedians I've really liked. I like, might be because of Seinfeld, but like I've always kind of like studied the art of like the stand-up comedy. But Dad, I know you're a big Jim Gaffigan guy.
Oh, Jim Gaffigan. Yeah.
Good,
I like him. He's clean. He's funny. He's just his delivery is great. Yeah, I forgot about him. I like him. Louis, you mentioned Louis C.K., right? He's still around. He's still around.
No, he got kind of canceled. He's like a sex pervert.
Oh, really?
People won't put him in things now.
Oh, that's not good. Oh, no, Michael Richards. I felt bad when he was doing that stand up and he picked on the.
Yeah, I mean, we can't repeat what he was saying. So, I mean, they do address it in Curb.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yes. And he kind of apologized, didn't he?
Well, again, they're not really
apologized off the air too.
And in that show, they're not like they're in character, like they're not really themselves.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But some of the other stand-ups, I basically will give any stand-up a shot.
Oh, so will I. Yeah, I'll go on and look and listen to everyone. But
yeah, we there's a lot of them on Netflix all the time.
So many on Netflix.
I think Aziz Ansari's pretty funny as a stand-up.
Yeah, he's funny. Yeah,
he's pretty good. Yeah.
I will say, if you guys haven't seen Sebastian Maniscalco,
Oh,
Dad,
favorite.
Dad, Dad
how
loves
could I
him.
forget him? He's my favorite. I love that
he's
guy.
my favorite.
I don't even know how,
how could I
say
forget him?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I listen to him all the time on there.
Yeah,
I'd love
he's
to. I'd love
really
to go to
good.
one of his concerts.
I would too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'd take tickets in a heartbeat.
Maybe
there.
people will start coming back to Atlantic City soon.
No, he's great.
He's actually coming to Atlantic City
Is he?
this summer, I think.
Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh. I'll talk to my wife about that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mom would hate him, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, probably. I don't.
Did
Scott,
Dad-
you seen him? You seen him, Scott?
I've seen him. Did Mom like Seinfeld? Because I remember her watching it with us.
Not really into it that much.
Because I feel like our tastes like never gel.
No. She hates Monty Python. Most women do. She hates.
Well, most people in general, I think, do.
Three Stooges. She hates that. Three Stooges, man. That's a classic. That was timeless.
Yeah. Maybe we can do a different episode about them some point. But
yeah,
John.
Yeah, Sebastian Maniscalco. I'm glad you brought him up. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
my
really
favorite.
good.
Is he currently your favorite, John?
He might be my favorite all time.
Honestly,
like
he's very good.
I've never seen like stand up that I could relate to more than a lot of his. I'm almost fully Italian, so growing up in a big Italian family, and,
sure.
And my nonna is from
you
Sicily,
can relate.
So there's all these things that he talks about, and it's like, oh, that thing or this thing.
He's great. He's funny as hell.
He's so good.
And his delivery,
really
just
is.
everything
So
about
good.
him, his mannerisms.
He's very animated. He gets really into it, and his personality just is.
Scott,
funny.
you like him?
He's okay. I haven't seen a lot of his stuff.
Yeah.
But it's funny now. Like you talk about, like it probably seems so natural, but I know so much of it is so rehearsed, especially watching the recorded stuff, because they know that's all material they've worked out a whole bunch. Like I said, give comedians and cars give a shot, because they talk about like a lot of the
it's
behind the scenes nature.
Not really funny. It was funny parts in that, but
I mean, it's like
educational, or
it's like a podcast. It's just people chatting,
like a podcast. That's
and like they'll make each other laugh, and that's kind of fun in its own way.
I think you'd like that.
Plus, if you're into cars, like every episode's a new car.
Got a new car.
Yeah, because Jerry's really into cars.
Okay,
I think he collects them. He collects.
He's got a big collection of different stuff. I know he's like a huge. It's like he's got a big sneaker collection.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like that's one thing about. Yeah, in like the 90s and stuff. Like in The Last Dance, which was that Michael Jordan documentary that came out a few years ago, Jerry Seinfeld made like an appearance in one of the episodes, because he was a big Michael Jordan fan, and sometimes in Seinfeld too, you'll see Jerry wearing like a special like Jordan shoe or something like that. So like there's
I never pick up on
Easter
that
eggs.
stuff.
I didn't pick up on that either.
I mean, I know he's got a big affinity for Superman, and they talk about comics.
He does. Yep.
So we're talking about like, oh man, maybe they're the Green Lantern, but it's like that's a thing. That's like at the time that was a deep pull.
He's a huge Met fan too. Huge Met fan.
He's a big Met fan.
Yeah.
There was actually an episode called the Bizarro Jerry, where
where they talk about the Bizarro universe.
Yeah.
And I like that the Bizarro Jerry had a Bizarro statue, because Jerry has a Superman one, and he's got Action Comics #1 magnet.
Right. Yep.
So in real life, he's into Superman too. I mean, that's not something.
Well, some of that stuff bleeds into real life, because I don't know, because you said Jerry's a Mets fan. I know Larry David's a huge Yankees guy, which is why I think the Yankee stuff happened in that show.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. George Steinbrenner. He had him down, the mannerisms. I know you guys didn't see him, but he had him down.
Oh, were they actually trying to imitate him?
Yeah. From the back, I looked just like him.
Okay, because I thought it was
the way he acted with the arms. And
I thought they were just deliberately
sounded like him too.
Okay, I thought they were deliberately not making it.
No,
like
that's the way he was. Yeah.
Oh, and I guess like the Jackie Childs thing, even if you don't know the reference, it's still funny.
Yeah, Jackie Childs was great. I forgot all about him till you guys mentioned it.
Yeah, actually, so did I.
You don't remember the O.J. Simpson thing, but yeah.
Well, I know there's been a couple of documentaries like the Michael Jordan one about the OJ like phenomenon, which like, man, that was inescapable at the time. Like I can't even. I can't even think about like what it would be like what's a modern version of that. I guess when like Tiger King was viral for that week. But
man, that trial went on forever. It felt like.
Oh man, when the chase was happening, that's all every single channel.
Oh, the Bronco,
which they also parody in Seinfeld, because
Yes.
What was the one where
Mhm.
that
I
one
forget.
Kramer was like
Oh.
friends with some guy that like that was accused of murdering somebody,
minute.
and he's
Is
like
that the
driving
club
him
one? He
home.
throws the clubs outside the. No,
Yeah,
that was a different one.
I don't
They threw
remember
the golf
exact
clubs.
details. Yeah,
They stole the car.
it's
The
from
mechanic stole the car.
it's a golfing incident though. Like
I thought it was when the mechanic stole the car. Remember,
No,
played
that
by
was-
what's his face,
no,
Brad
that's-
That
Garrett.
episode.
Brad
no,
Garrett.
that's no, because that was the brother from Everybody Loves Raymond. No, that's a
Yeah.
different one. There is one where like Kramer's driving the guy in a
Oh.
Ford Bronco, and it's got like all the overhead footage on the news, like it was on the.
Is that the one where they run out of gas?
No,
At
that.
some
Oh, I know
point?
which one you're. I know which one you're talking about.
I
yeah.
do that one all the time too. Whenever I go driving with my brother,
They're holding hands or something.
well, I do that. I do that when we run low on gas with Mark, my brother. Like yeah, I think about that all the time. I was like, oh man, roll in there and be bone dry. I'm always so nervous. Like if I get to my destination, I won't be able to get to a place to get gas after the fact. That's one of the ones I think about a lot.
Below the E. There's never been below the E. No one's ever
Yeah.
tried that. Yeah, that was a good one.
Oh, there's so much good stuff.
I know you just go on and on about the episodes.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely in the comments or whatever equivalent there is for how you're absorbing this podcast, definitely let us know what some of your favorite episodes and moments are. There's really too many to count here. We haven't even talked about like the contest or the marine biologist or the when
Junior Mint.
the junior mints. Like there's so much we haven't talked about.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what's kind of
iconic.
You know what's kind of an
moments.
underrated episode I really like, especially now in retrospect, is the limo from season 3. So that's where George is picking Jerry up from the airport, and they see a limo driver with like a name. They're like, hey, let's pretend to be that guy.
Oh
they go in there.
yeah. I know
And they're
which
like,
one
oh,
you're
we're
talking
going
about.
to go. Yeah, we're going to go to we're going to a ball game. We're like, oh, we have to pick up people, and they find out he's like like the Aryan Nation.
They were going to a Knicks game, I think.
Yeah.
In that
the Aryan Nation one. Yes.
And his name was like David something.
I don't remember his name.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember the name either, honestly. But
that was that early.
That episode was good. Where they had like the people who came in, like the fan club people.
Yeah,
right. Was that episode?
Yeah, where it's like they were like, oh, we love hearing how you, but like they kind of ease you into the fact that they're Nazis.
And then there's a big plot twist. Yep.
Oh yeah! Wow, that was that early on, Scott.
Of season 3.
Yeah.
Shoot, that's a long lost one.
And it's almost a bottle episode where it's almost entirely just in the backseat of this limo.
The backseat of the limo. Yeah.
That's such a crazy premise, but like
pretending to be that Aryan head. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's all people. This Jewish guy. Yeah.
I know. And George is an honorary Jewish guy, I think. But there's I see, going back and like thinking about the show now, like most of my favorite moments that I look back on the most are related to George.
That no bagels. That was the Festivus one, right?
That's the Festivus one, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Because he's picketing the bagel place.
Yeah.
Because they won't let him off for Festivus.
That's right. That is really that's a great one. That's really one of my favorites.
I do want to bring this up. As somebody who didn't know anything about the show when I was watching it, Susan's death was like crazy. I was like, what?
Oh, nobody saw it coming, but it turns out it was one of those things like the actress didn't really gel with the main cast.
Is that the lick in the envelope one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, where she looks like 500 envelopes.
Yeah.
So in the intervening years from that episode and now, I've done a lot of weddings and been involved in a lot of wedding planning. And I always think about that. I'm like, you should probably just send them on postcards and not have to do envelopes.
I was at work the other day, and they had me. They had a lot of envelopes there. I had to stuff, and I said, I don't want to lick these envelopes. I said, give me some kind of sponge. I was thinking of that episode.
I always think about
I can't stop thinking about that now.
I'm not licking these envelopes. I told the boss. I said, you need to give me some. And she gave me a little sponge, and I was thinking of that. Oh God. Let drop over here. That is weird. Yeah.
Another thing that happened, like, Dad, remember when we were kids in like the Hess school, like you could go swimming in the swimming pool. After hours. I remember.
Sorry, I went to that school too. So I remember.
I went to that school too. But I remember one night we did that, and then I went to school the next day, and I guess I didn't wash off properly after the fact because, like, when chlorine, like, you get real itchy.
Yeah.
I remember because it was the night after like the fleas episode where Newman gives everyone fleas. And I remember making a reference like that to my teacher. And she's like, "Are you watching Seinfeld?" And
Oh,
I was
wow.
like, again, I was in elementary school, so I was like 4th, 5th grade. And I was like, "Yeah,
Ah.
and like, you probably shouldn't be watching that."
Oh, really? I didn't hear that story. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Fleas. Why did Newman get fleas? I'm trying to think of that episode.
I guess because of dogs and stuff, because he's a mailman.
Oh,
I don't
wonder
remember
that
the exact.
Wasn't there an
Yeah.
episode where somebody was doing dog walking too?
I don't remember. I know there's the episode where Elaine wants
I
to
can't
like
remember
get a
either.
dog hitman because their neighbor dog keeps
one. Oh,
barking.
the Ned was barking. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
right.
Oh, they try to take it upstate and dump it, and he found
It
his way
comes back.
back across the
Yeah.
bridge.
Oh, and there's that
Yeah.
one where Jerry babysits that one dog that we never see. It's just like always barking in the other room.
Mm.
I can't
Oh,
remember
yeah,
his
yeah.
name's like Farfig Newton or something.
Farfel. I think you're right on that.
No, it's Farfel.
Oh, Farfel. Yeah, Farfel.
Oh yeah, that drunk guy from the plane.
Farfel. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an early one. But then there's also, speaking of dogs, there's the one where Kramer takes dog medication.
Oh, yeah.
Starts
I
acting like
forgot
a
about
dog.
that one.
So
Yeah.
like I thought it was
Well,
big
because
pill.
it ends best at the end where he's got that cough, so he can't speak. He's going up to the cops, and he's like,
Oh,
they're like,
yeah.
"What do you got? Something to say to us, boy?" And like, there's trouble down at the old mill, which is the restaurant.
That's
like,
right.
well, they like follow him, like
Yeah,
to show us
yeah,
the way,
yeah,
boy.
yeah.
Like it's, I don't know, like it's the way some of this stuff like crescendos at the end of the episode is. Really,
How about that one? You told about that lady who runs a shop is in 101 episodes, and he was going with her. She had big nails. She was scratching.
Oh no,
his back.
she's from Reggie's, I think.
She's scratching the back and from Reggie's, and then
Yeah.
he was trying to get her jealous. He wanted her to look out, and he's making out with an inflatable doll in a car or something.
I don't remember that.
Remember that? She looks out the window, and he's making out with. Does that? No, you don't remember that one?
No, I don't. Do you remember it,
I
John?
can't recall that. I can't recall the episode, but I do remember the.
I remember the
inflatable
back
doll.
scratching thing because I know he uses a spatula to scratch his back at some point.
Yeah, something like he was trying to make her jealous or something. I don't. Oh,
Yeah.
well, that came to mind,
but I'm really glad that the show still works, like, because it's one of those things, like, nostalgia is so strong that it's hard to be objective about things you liked when you were young. That, like, and when John told me he really liked Seinfeld, and, like, you know, obviously you were born in 2001 or whatever.
Mm.
It's nice to know that, like, it still works. You know?
Yes, I'm glad there's a new guy. Yeah, when
Yeah.
Scott told me that you liked it, I said, I like to hear that. Someone young who's never doesn't know anything about it is in the Seinfeld. It's like the Three Stooges. It's timeless, right? It's going to last.
I think
right?
it is. I mean, it's my kind of sense of humor.
Yeah.
You know, I can't speak for everybody like around my age group, but
Yeah, right.
At least for me, like it works perfectly.
How did you find it? You were just stumbling your way through.
I knew of this show. I never thought to like actually sit down and watch it.
So you watched it. Okay.
But it was on Hulu.
That's pretty cool.
And I said, well, I was talking to my parents about it, and they watched it.
Oh, well, okay.
When it was on.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, you'll like that. And so I was like, okay, I'll watch it. And lo and behold, I loved it. So
yeah, I'm glad you stuck with it, because probably the first
in the
couple
beginning.
Probably not that.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. In the
it's
beginning,
a little slow.
Yeah,
it's a little slow,
it could turn you off in the beginning.
Yeah,
because there's a
But
couple
it
of
picks
shows.
up.
Yeah, there's a couple of shows like that where like you kind of need to push through the first season.
Breaking Bad was like that too.
Yeah. I love the slow burn of Breaking Bad, but I was thinking more specifically Parks and Rec.
Oh,
Parks and Rec, and so is The Office. The Office is a little slow in the beginning.
You watch those shows? Those are great shows.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah, so many good ones there. Oh God, yeah, Parks and Rec, that was great. Oh.
Yeah,
Parks and Rec was good. Yeah.
Breaking Bad. Did you see Breaking Bad?
I'm on the 4th season of Breaking Bad right now.
That's pretty much
it. It's not a show you like want to sit there and just keep watching.
Yeah, I haven't picked it up in a good
month,
maybe.
Yeah. We talked a little bit about in the store. It's not a feel good show.
No,
you want to just sit there and just binge.
No.
Yeah.
Versus like these sitcoms where they're like light and fun.
I'm a sitcom person, so
am I. I like them.
That's just the kind of show that I like. But
do you ever watch the old stuff from the 60s on the whatever channel that is, Meat TV or something, Beverly Hillbillies, all that stuff, all those shows? I don't know if you've watched any of that.
I've seen episodes of
like
I Love
with
Lucy
all that stuff. I Love Lucy and the Honeymooners.
Honeymooners is surprisingly great.
All that
I like
stuff.
The Honeymooners,
yeah.
Gomer Pyle. I don't know. Keep going. I could think Andy Griffith. I don't know.
Andy Griffith show stinks.
Yeah, I never really liked it that much, but I liked the Beverly Hillbillies as a kid. That was my favorite.
Well, because I remember we watched all that stuff Nick at Night.
We're going back. Nick at Night it was called then. Yeah.
Yeah, we're also getting wildly off topic.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We are.
Go back to the 60s. Yes.
Because we can talk. Maybe we'll talk about the Munsters for Halloween.
Oh, there's another one.
Munsters
Yeah.
versus Addams Family.
Oh my God, that was always a big one.
But yeah,
All right,
so
it's back to Seinfeld.
let's get into final thoughts on the show a little bit. Unless there's anything like you guys wanted to talk about that we have not hit.
Nah,
We've pretty much hit everything, I think.
Yeah, I'm for like a surface level one. Like if people really like this, we can go back and like dive into like a couple of episodes a little bit more deeply. Part of the reason why I'm not comfortable doing that right now is just because I have not. Usually I would want to like watch all of this stuff before.
Right.
Yeah.
So I haven't watched it in a long time.
Yeah, with the new store and stuff, it's just haven't had time. You know, but we can that's something we can definitely come back to at some point. I apparently have to come back to Frasier because after that,
I was just going to say that.
Because after that episode, every single person I know that I didn't realize loved that show were like, I can't believe you didn't invite me on to that one. I was like, I didn't even know you watched it.
Oh, you got to see that one, John. Did you see? Have you seen any of it?
Frasier. I think I'm going to watch Cheers first because I think Cheers comes before, right?
Yeah, but I would say you can just watch Frasier.
Okay, if I could watch Frasier without watching Cheers, I'm probably
There's some continuity stuff with Cheers.
Yeah,
you know, he talks about the woman that left him at an altar. The character comes in, but like it's so kind of divorced from it. You really don't need to. Like,
you don't have to.
You know, they're long shows, right?
They're both like 11 years, and we recently just watched both of them.
No, Cheers is too long.
And Cheers is way too long.
They had an actor named Kirstie Alley there, just was ruining that show.
It gets really bad.
It gets bad. It gets really bad. The writing is just.
But Frasier has like slam dunk top 10 episodes all the way until the end.
Everyone.
Okay.
Every season of it's really good. There's no caveat where there was like, well, like Parks and Rec.
Season 11 was great. Yeah.
But the first 6 episodes stink. You know what I mean? There's nothing like that. It's gold all the way through.
Really.
It's got a lot of what makes Seinfeld work, where it's like the chemistry and the writing and stuff. But like that one's more writing focused.
It's way up there in my book.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say give it a shot. It's much more like character driven.
I think you'll like it.
Yeah, I think
You've watched that.
I would like.
Screw Cheers. Do that first.
I would also say I also think you really will like Curb, and they're kind of in apples and oranges.
Curb's great.
I do want to watch Curb.
Curb's great. Yeah. You could do Cheers last or something.
I would say cherry pick Cheers because there's good stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's good stuff in it. Oh yeah.
But
you know, those other.
I wouldn't watch 11 seasons of that to watch Frasier. You can just watch Frasier.
Okay.
You don't have to.
But yeah, I guess now that we're done recommending other shows, Seinfeld. I guess obviously we recommend the show. That's why we want to talk. We talked about it for an hour, for a reason. But yeah, I'm glad I got John. You can remember I got really excited when you told me you watched it. I didn't know you were watching it at all.
Yeah.
I think that was when we were still on lockdown, and then we came back to work, and you told me like, oh, what did you do while we were away? Like, oh, I watched Seinfeld. I was like, oh my God, did you like it?
Wow. I think that was actually your exact response.
Yeah, I'm sure it was because that's how I respond to things.
You never told him to watch it, right, Scott?
No, I didn't know he was watching it. I was really excited.
Recommended the show, I should say.
No, I didn't. I don't think I even recommended it. I think I was afraid
of talked to anybody about it before.
Yeah, I think I was afraid of like being like, oh, this old boomer show that this guy watched.
Yeah, the boomer. Plus, your parents didn't mention that. Maybe they're not fans. I don't know.
My parents like it. I don't know how often they watched it when it was actually out though.
Yeah. I watched it all the time.
It's good stuff. But
gotta wait week to week. That's hated that. To be continues. There'll be those to be continues was always. Oh man.
Well, they
gotta wait till next week.
Because they talk about it in their to be continued one where it's like, oh yeah, it's like the story's not wrapped up. There's only like 2 minutes left. Oh no. Yeah. Like, they do that in one of the closing bits for the first like 2-parter. In the show, which means nothing when you binge it because you can just watch the next.
Yeah, that's what's so great about that.
But no, like I said, I'm glad the show's still finding an audience. Like I said, it's a show that's near and dear to my heart, but like nostalgia is a fickle mistress. Can't always trust her. Revisiting a lot of stuff as from a youth, like oh, this is bad. Or like it really hasn't aged well at all. Because I'm sure there's elements of the show that like if I watch it now, I'm like kind of cringy. But you got to remember, like even 10 years ago was a different time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
What was that Seinfeld episode? He was on the witness stand. Newman. What was that about? Remember, he was on the witness stand and something about what the hell was that one about?
oh, it was about the speeding ticket because Kramer gave him a faulty radar
Yes.
detector.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I don't know why I thought of that. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know why you thought of that either.
Yeah, I don't know.
But thanks, Dad, for introducing me to Seinfeld and for joining us.
Yeah, I first time I've not been face to face with somebody.
Yeah, no, it's a fun show.
I'm old school, I'm not used to this.
Yeah, I know Harry and those guys want to talk to you about the current season of baseball. We just have to schedule that out.
Yeah, whenever you want,
Yeah, we'll figure that out. I know you're working again, so
yeah,
we'll work around that schedule. John, thank you for.
Yeah, nice meeting you via.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you too. Nice to talk. Yeah.
I'm coming next Saturday to the grand opening, so
I'll be there with Scott and
Joey
in the morning. Yeah.
You work full time there at that store, or do you
no, full part time because I got school too.
Oh
yeah. He's picking up more hours now, and especially because now that summer's kicking in.
You going to college? Are you in college?
Yeah, I go to Stockton right now.
Oh, okay. What do you know what you're taking yet, or just first year?
Well, it's my first year over there, but I'm going to be a junior, so I'm a transfer student.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah, so stay in school, kids.
Yeah, stay in school. That's right.
But yeah, Dad mentioned our grand opening event. If you're listening to this episode, the day it goes up, it is tomorrow. We're going to have a whole bunch of stuff going on. Visit us at levelupentertainment.com for all the details. But we'll have cosplayers and cookies and giveaways and sales. You can come and get free sketches from local cartoonists. It's going to be a good time. I'm looking forward to it very much.
Yeah.
That's in our new Summers Point location, 31 Bethel Road, Summers Point, New Jersey, 08244.
Nice store.
Yeah, it's nice. Our nice new big store.
Yeah.
Scott, this goes on. People can watch this.
Oh yeah, this goes on the internet. People.
So it shows you. Yeah. Okay.
It's gonna go on YouTube and like all the phones and stuff.
No kidding.
Yeah. You're gonna be a minor celebrity now, Pop.
Well, no one can see me. I'm faceless.
Yeah, you don't have a webcam. It's I just bought you a headset with a microphone so we can record this.
It's all right.
But yeah, so that'll do us for this week's episode. Not sure what next week's topic's gonna be. It might be Star Trek Voyager. So we'll see you guys next time. Until then, be safe.